The cold metal floor of Outpost Delta 9 was quiet, except for the soft footsteps of Captain Ryan. His boots echoed through the dim hallway. He had done this night patrol 100 times before, but tonight felt different. He couldn't say why. When he heard it, a weak sound, like someone whispering, he stopped. Then he heard it again. "Please." Ryan turned sharply. His hand went to the pulse gun at his belt. He moved slowly toward the sound. Around the corner, in the shadows near the airlock, he saw something. Someone dotted. Was a woman. No, not human. Her skin was light blue, almost glowing. Her long silver hair hung in dirty strands, and her arms were wrapped tightly around something small. A child. She was shaking badly, her lips dry and cracked, her breathing shallow. She looked up at him with wide, glassy eyes. "Just one bite," she whispered. Then she collapsed. Ryan rushed forward. The child in her arms made a soft whimpering sound. He knelt beside her, checking for a pulse. She was barely alive. The child, small, thin, and almost weightless, blinked at him with strange, shining eyes. They looked human. He grabbed his cum. "Medical, this is Captain Ryan. I have an emergency in Sector 9B. We've got an alien female and child. Both are unconscious. I need evac now." There was silence, then a cold voice replied. "Subject is not in the station registry. Not authorized for medical support. Quarantine protocol in effect." He gritted his teeth. "She's dying. There's a child. No exceptions. Orders from command." Ryan looked at the woman again. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. Her arms were scratched, her clothes torn. She was barefoot. She had risked everything to get here. He knew what quarantine meant. Let her die out here like trash. Damn the orders. He muttered. He lifted her carefully, holding her light body against his chest. The child clung to her, not making a sound. Ryan carried them both down the corridor toward his private quarters. He passed 2 security drones on the way. His clearance badge kept them from asking questions. No one would bother a captain at this hour. Once inside his quarters, he laid the woman gently on the small cot. The child sat beside her, staring at him silently. He opened his ration drawer and grabbed a food bar. He peeled it and broke a piece, then slowly brought it to her lips. "Come on," he said softly. "Eat." Her eyes fluttered open. She saw the food. With shaking fingers, she took the piece and put it in her mouth. The moment she tasted it, tears rolled down her cheeks. She tried to chew, but cried instead, weak sobs shaking her body. The child reached for the rest of the bar. Ryan gave it. Without a word, the woman looked at him again. "Thank you," she whispered. "They said a kind one lives here. A human. They said, find him. Find Ryan." He froze. How did she know his name? "Who told you that?" he asked. But her head fell back. She passed out. The child crawled into her arms, hugging close. Ryan watched them in silence, his mind racing. Who was she? What did she mean? And why did her child look so human? He scanned her body with a handheld device. Low oxygen, critical hunger levels, mild radiation exposure. She had been traveling in space for days, maybe weeks, without proper protection. That alone should have killed her. But somehow, she survived, carrying a child. Ryan sat beside them, watching the woman breathe slowly. The child dozed off against her chest. He couldn't report this. Command would take them away, maybe even kill them. Especially the child. He glanced at the little one's face. The features were soft, not alien, almost like a human baby. But the eyes, they were glowing faintly, shifting colors like a nebula. Ryan stood up and locked the door. He activated the security jammer. No one would track signals from this room tonight. He leaned against the wall and exhaled. What the hell had he just gotten himself into? Then the lights flickered. The baby opened its eyes and looked right at him. and without anyone saying a word, it spoke. Clearly, in perfect English. "Daddy?" Ryan's blood ran cold. He didn't move. Didn't speak. The child blinked again and laid its head back down. Ryan stared at them for a long time. Outside the station, among the stars, something watched and waited. And it had just found its target. Ryan didn't sleep that night. He sat by the cot, his back against the wall, one hand gripping his pulse gun. The woman still hadn't woken up. The child slept quietly, curled beside her, tiny fingers clutching her tunic, but that word still echoed in his mind. "Daddy." He didn't imagine it. The baby had spoken, in perfect English, with a voice too clear, too real. But how? That child couldn't be more than a year old. Was it some kind of translator tech implanted in the brain? Or something stranger? Morning lights flickered on across the station, but Ryan didn't move. He just watched them, waiting, thinking. Finally, the woman stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the soft light. She sat up with a gasp, grabbing the child protectively, but relaxed when she saw Ryan. "You helped us," she said, her voice hoarse but calm. "You know my name," Ryan said. "Start talking." She looked at the child, then back at him. "I am Luma, from the outer ring of Telvax. We crossed many sectors to find you. I didn't know if you were real, but you are. That doesn't answer anything." She reached into a small pouch on her side, barely visible under her tattered clothing, and pulled out a chipped data crystal. She held it toward him. "This has your name, your DNA signature, your image. I stole it from the Qatari facility before I escaped." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "What kind of facility?" Luma's hands trembled. "A birthing farm." Ryan felt the words punch him in the gut. "We were taken. Females from dozens of systems. Some with strange abilities, others compatible with human genes. The Qatari used stolen DNA, mixed it, grew children in tanks. Some were weapons. Some were failed. Some, like her, were born perfect." She looked down at the child, brushing the girl's hair gently. "They said she was a hybrid, that she had the mind of a starseer, but the body of a human. I was told to give her up, but I ran." Ryan's voice was flat. "Why me?" Luma looked into his eyes. "You were one of the donors." "Not willingly. They took samples during your time on Telvax 7. Do you remember the medical scan after your crash landing 3 years ago?" Ryan's heart dropped. He remembered. He had been injured. They said they were checking for internal bleeding. He didn't question it. "They took your DNA," she said, "and made her." She placed the child on the bed. "She's yours." Ryan stood up fast, knocking his chair back. "No, this is crazy. That can't be possible." "You don't have to believe me," Luma said, "but your blood will match hers. Test it." He didn't move. "I heard her speak," he said. "She called me, her father." Luma nodded. "The Qatari programmed some of the children with speech enhancers, but hers evolved beyond what they expected. She connects through thought, through memory. She knew you because she was made from you." The child stirred, then opened her eyes again. She looked at Ryan, not with fear, but recognition. "Hi," she said softly. Ryan stared at her. For a moment, he couldn't speak. Her eyes, though glowing, had the same shape as his sister's when they were kids. The same curious tilt. Luma stood, unsteady. "I have to feed her again. She's growing faster than expected. If she doesn't eat soon." Ryan opened his supply locker and handed her another ration bar. She thanked him and broke it, feeding the child slowly. "What's her name?" he asked. "I call her Myra," Luma said, smiling faintly. "In my language, it means hope." He stared at the child again. "She's not just a lab baby, is she?" "No," Luma whispered. "They called her the key." "Key to what?" Luma looked down. Something hidden deep in her jeans. A map, maybe. Or a weapon. maybe both, but I don't care. I just want her to be free, alive. Suddenly, the comm panel on Ryan's wall beeped. He turned fast. "Security check," said a voice. "Captain Ryan, you are required at Dock Sector 3. A foreign vessel has requested immediate entry. They claim emergency salvage rights." "Did they give a name?" "Negative. They refused all identity scans." "But they knew your name." Ryan's gut twisted. Luma stepped back, holding Myra close. "They found us," she whispered. "How?" "I don't know. Maybe she gave off a signal. Maybe they tracked my jump ship before I crashed it." Ryan moved to the console and muted the comm. He looked at both of them. One sick alien woman, one half-human child, and something powerful enough to make the K-Tori cross galaxies to take her back. He knew what command would say. "Turn them in. Stay out of it." But he COULDN single quotes D dot, because now it was personal, and something told him. This was just the beginning. Ryan stood at the center of his quarters, heart racing. The emergency light blinked above the door. Someone was on the other side. He raised a finger to his lips, signaling Luma to stay quiet. She held Myra close, backing into the shadows behind. The supply crates got another knock. But this time it wasn't soft. It was heavy, metallic. Measured dot, then came a voice, deep, mechanical, with no emotion. "Captain Ryan, open the door. We are here under medical emergency code, Alpha 7. Please comply." Ryan didn't move. That code didn't exist, not in human protocols. He grabbed his sidearm, set it to stun, and moved to the door. He activated the one-way viewer. 2 tall figures stood outside. Not human dot, their armor was bone white, smooth and organic looking, with slits glowing dim red. They had no visible mouths. Just breathing vents and long arms with too many joints. Ryan narrowed his eyes. Qatari agents, or something worse. He pressed the comm. "This is Captain Ryan. You're not on any authorized list. Identify yourselves." The left one spoke. "We seek the hybrid child. She belongs to us." Ryan's grip tightened on the gun. "She doesn't belong to anyone." A pause, then the same voice colder. "You have 60 seconds to comply. After that, we enter." The door started to hiss. They were overriding the locks. Ryan turned fast. "Back exit now." Luma rushed to the maintenance hatch. Ryan followed and keyed in the override. The small tunnel opened, tight, but enough to crawl. He let Luma go first with Myra strapped to her chest. Then he followed. Just as the last of his boots disappeared inside, the door behind them exploded. Sparks rained down. The corridor shook. The agents were in. Ryan sealed the tunnel hatch and activated his jammer. That would delay them, maybe 2 minutes. They moved fast through the narrow shafts, crawling until they reached a lower service deck. The place smelled like oil and burnt wires. It was used mostly for droid repair, and barely anyone came here. He helped Luma down and checked the scanners. No signals yet. "We need to get off the station," he said. "Now." "They won't stop," Luma said, panting. "They're trackers. They don't eat, don't sleep, just follow orders." Once they lock onto Myra's signal, Ryan nodded. "They're already locked." "I need to get us to my ship." Luma frowned. "It's not fast enough. Not for what's coming." "What do you mean?" "I saw it on the way here, before I ejected. They're sending a Hunter-class vessel, bigger than a cruiser, with Mindrippers on board." Ryan's blood ran cold. "Mindrippers? They use those on prisoners. They'll use it on a child. If it gets them what they want." He pulled her up. "Then we can't run. We'll have to hide inside the station." "No," Luma said. "They'll search every level. Mira's not strong enough to block her signal. She's just a baby. Then I'll erase the signal." Luma looked confused. Ryan led them to a hidden maintenance console. "All security. Feeds, all biometric logs. They all get stored here before going to command. I know how to scramble it." He worked fast, fingers flying across the screen. Luma held Myra close. The baby's skin pulsed faintly, like tiny lights moving beneath the surface. "She's starting to feel them," Luma whispered. "Their thoughts, their hunger. She's afraid." Ryan didn't stop working. The console shut down. "What happened?" He snapped. Then a voice came from the overhead speaker, but not the station AI. It was deeper, not robotic, not natural. "We see you, Captain." Luma gasped. "They've taken the station AI," she said. "We know what she is," the voice continued. "We want the child. Give her to us, and we'll spare the rest." Ryan stood up, jaw tight. He shouted into the empty room, "You'll get nothing." There was silence, then a slow, hollow laugh. The lights flickered. The door controls shut down. Everything around them was locking up. They were being boxed in. Luma leaned against the wall, shaking. "They'll cut off oxygen next." Ryan opened a storage panel and grabbed 3 oxygen canisters. "Then we find a way out. My ship's in Dock 17, but we need to move fast." Luma looked at him. "Why are you doing this?" "Because she called me her father," he said simply. "And I believe it now." They moved quickly through the side corridors. Alarms blared in the distance. Security drones flew past, confused by the override commands flooding the system. As they neared Dock 17, Ryan saw a shadow move behind a vent. He stopped. Then a single red eye blinked in the dark. One of the agents dropped from the ceiling. Blade drawn, moving like liquid. Ryan fired first. The stun blast hit it, but the thing barely flinched. It raised its weapon. Then Myra, still in Luma's arms, let out a sudden cry. A wave of light burst out from her, silent and powerful. The agent was thrown back against the wall. Twitching, Ryan stared. Even Luma looked stunned. "She's changing," she said. "Faster than I thought." Ryan pulled them both toward the hangar. Whatever this child was, she wasn't just a hybrid. She was something new, and the galaxy wasn't ready for her. The hangar was in chaos. Dock 17's heavy gates were opening and closing without pattern, slamming like jaws. Ships were being pulled from their moorings by bursts of artificial gravity. Sirens howled. Fire suppression gas hissed from cracked pipes. Whatever had hijacked the station systems was trying to keep them grounded. Ryan led Luma and Myra through the smoke, ducking behind crates, past panicked dockhands and armed officers. None of them knew what was really happening, and that made it even more dangerous. "We're close," Ryan said, pointing to a small interceptor ship near the far wall. "That one's mine." Luma was pale, coughing hard. She had wrapped Myra tightly against her chest with a strip of torn blanket. The child's body glowed softly beneath the cloth, like a dying star inside her. "She's getting hotter," Luma said. "She's using too much energy." Ryan grabbed her wrist. "Gently, we'll get her out. But we need to move now." Then a voice blared through the hangar speakers, not the station AI, the same cold, deep voice from before. "You are resisting official transfer of property. Return the hybrid immediately." Ryan growled, "She's not a thing, and she's not yours." In response, a red beam shot down from the ceiling and vaporized the floor panel next to them. A warning. The ceiling opened. Something long and insect-like crawled through the metal. 4 limbs, sharp edges, glowing core, a Khatari Mindripper drone. Luma gasped. "We're out of time." Ryan yanked her forward. "Run." The Mindripper dropped to the floor behind them and gave chase. It moved unnaturally, like it bent time between steps, blinking closer with each flash of red light. Ryan fired over his shoulder. The bolts bounced off the drone's armor. They reached the ship. Ryan slammed his hand on the biometric pad. The ramp opened. Inside, he shouted. Luma climbed up with Myra, and Ryan followed. As the hatch sealed shut, the drone slammed into it, hard enough to dent the steel. Inside, lights flickered, then came to life. Ryan jumped into the pilot's seat. Hold on. He didn't wait for clearance. He cut the magnetic clamps manually, overriding all safety systems. Sparks flew. A loud tearing sound shook the ship. They've locked the hangar doors, Luma said, strapping in. We're trapped. Not if we crash through. You'll get us killed. I've done it before, he said, eyes focused. The engines roared to life. Outside, the Mindripper climbed onto the hull. Myra's glowed, turned gold. She let out a sharp cry. A wave of invisible force pushed outward from the ship. The Mindripper screamed and flew off. Smashing into a wall, Ryan didn't question it. He launched. The ship blasted forward, full speed, heading straight for the sealed hangar doors. Brace! Ryan yelled. The ship crashed through. Metal screamed. Lights burst. Gravity failed, but they made it. Out into the void. Beyond the station, the stars stretched before them. Ryan steadied the controls, sweat dripping from his forehead. We're clear, he said, breathing hard. But Luma didn't look relieved. They'll follow, she said. They always do, not if I send us where they can't. She looked at him. Where? He turned the ship toward the edge of the sector, toward the dead zone. An area no signal could escape. A place abandoned by both humans and aliens. A forgotten moon, he said. Used to be a mining post. It's where I learned to fly. Luma nodded. Good, she needs rest. I can't. She can't take much more. Ryan looked at her. You're not doing well either. Luma smiled faintly. She takes my strength. It's the only way she can live. He stared at her. You knew what would happen, didn't you? I hoped it wouldn't, she whispered. But I was ready. He sat back, quiet. The stars passed by. A soft sound made him turn. Myra was sitting up, small hands gripping her blanket. She looked right at him. Are we safe now? She asked in that soft, perfect voice. Ryan swallowed. For a little while. She nodded, then reached for him. He hesitated, then moved closer. She climbed into his lap, her head resting on his chest. Her body was warm, almost hot, but he didn't mind. She trusts you, Luma said softly. I don't know why, he replied. Because you're hers. Ryan looked down at the child in his arms, glowing softly, breathing steady. For the first time in his life, he felt something strange. Not fear, not duty, but something older. Something human. Need to protect. To keep her safe, even if it meant war. Outside, in the darkness of space, a single ship followed them, silent, cloaked, patient. The hunt wasn't over. It had just begun. The ship drifted quietly toward the dead zone. No signals, no stars, just a sea of black. The girl slept, wrapped in Ryan's jacket, her soft breathing the only sound inside the small cockpit. Her glow had dimmed now, from golden to pale blue. But she was still warm, pulsing faintly like a living star. Luma was not doing as well. She sat slumped against the wall, eyes half closed, lips dry. Her breathing had grown shallow. Every time Mira stirred, Luma would smile weakly and whisper words from her language. Songs, maybe. Old ones. Ryan checked the scanner again. Still no signal. Still no ship behind them. But he knew better. The Qatari never chase blindly, he muttered. They wait until you think they're gone. Luma opened her eyes slowly. That's how they break you, with fear. I've faced pirates, smugglers, mercenaries. Even a rogue, I once, Ryan said. But this feels different. Luma nodded. Because it is. They don't want money. They don't want revenge. They want what's inside her, and they'll kill anyone to get it. What exactly is inside her? Luma looked at him, tears in her eyes. Something ancient, she said. The Qatari didn't create her. They discovered her potential in old data. She's not just a mix of genes. She's a key. To what? I don't know. A weapon? A cure? A message? They never told us. Only that she had to be controlled or destroyed. The ship shook. Ryan jumped up and rushed to the cockpit. No impact. But something just passed us. He turned on the manual visual scan. No cloaking filters, no signal filters, just raw light. There it was, a shape, huge, black, moving like a shadow between stars. It had no engines, no lights, just a body, smooth and endless, like the skin of a sleeping serpent. Hunter-class ship, Ryan whispered. They've been with us the whole time. Luma staggered to the cockpit. Can we run? No, Ryan said. We're already in the dead zone. If I push the engines harder, the core could fry. We won't outrun them. Luma looked at Mira, then back at Ryan. Then we fight. He turned. With what? A broken interceptor and a child? She stepped forward, slow and steady. You don't understand. Mira isn't just the key. She's already waking. Ryan frowned. Waking? Her body's changing. Her mind is evolving faster than any hybrid ever did. She connects to energy, systems, minds, space itself. That sounds like myth. She was never meant to be born, Luma said. And yet here she is. The ship's lights dimmed. Everything went quiet. Then crash. Something hit the hull. Hard. The screen showed it. A hunter pod had latched onto their rear thrusters. Ryan ran to the control board. We've got a boarding unit. If they breach, we're finished. Mira sat up in the pilot's chair. Her eyes glowed, not blue, not gold, but silver. She raised her small hand. The ship's lights came back on. The control board flickered, then began to move on its own. What's she doing? Ryan asked. Luma whispered. Saving us. The rear thrusters roared to life, then reversed. The sudden shift in power threw the hunter pod off. It spun into space. But the main ship still followed. A voice entered the cockpit, deep, familiar, emotionless. You cannot protect her. She belongs to the void. Mira turned her head, eyes glowing. No, she said. I belong to him. She pointed at Ryan. The voice screamed, as if in pain, and the connection cut. The hunter ship's hull cracked. Just a little, but enough to cause chaos inside. Mira slumped. Exhausted. Ryan caught her. He started. Luma nodded. She connected to their hive and broke it. How is that possible? I told you, Luma said. She's something new. Suddenly Ryan's console blinked. A message. Old encrypted, human. It was from a hidden research base, forgotten long ago, buried beneath the surface of the nearest moon. Coordinates flashed on screen. Someone wants us to go there. Ryan said. Luma touched the screen. It's from the past. From when the Qatari first learned of the project. You think they left a message for us? Not us, she whispered. For her. Ryan set the ship toward the moon. The hunter ship didn't follow. Not anymore. Inside, Ryan looked at Mira, sleeping, glowing, human. And more. Then, he looked at Luma. She was leaning back now, smiling faintly, blood on her lips. Luma, she looked up. Eyes soft. She need you now, she said. Ryan dropped beside her. No, don't do this. Stay with us. She's safe. For now, Luma whispered. And you're the only one who can teach her what it means to be human. She reached out, touched Myra's cheek, and then went still. No breath. No sound. Just peace. Ryan held her for a long time. Then Myra, still half asleep, whispered, Mommy's gone? Ryan pulled her close, heart heavy. Yes, he said softly, but I'm still here. Outside, the moon grew closer, and deep inside it, the truth waited. The moon was quiet. Not dead, just waiting. It had no name now. It had once been called RL-7, a mining post abandoned when the core veins ran dry. But even after the drills stopped, something beneath the surface kept whispering to the stars. Ryan landed the ship gently in a deep canyon, its walls blackened with burn marks from a battle long forgotten. As the ramp lowered, Cold dust swept inside, swirling around his boots. He stepped out slowly, Mira in his arms. Luma was gone. He had wrapped her body in a clean blanket and placed her in the small storage bay. There would be time to bury her later, but for now he had to find out why she'd brought them here. Why she gave everything to save Myra. The child rested against him, her glow softer now. She hadn't spoken since the ship landed. She didn't need to. Ryan could feel it, a deep sadness flowing from her like a silent signal. They walked together, toward a crack in the canyon wall, just wide enough to fit one man. As he approached, the rock shimmered. Not visibly, but something pressed against his thoughts. Welcome. He spun, gun raised, but no one was there. Then Mira lifted her head. It's in here, she whispered. It knows me. Rayan hesitated, then walked inside. The cave twisted and turned, until the walls became smooth metal, not made, but grown. Biotech, ancient. A soft blue light guided them forward. Finally, they reached a large chamber. In the center stood a tall crystal, humming faintly. Around it were skeletal remains, alien bodies with elongated skulls, strange armor, long faded. Rayan stepped closer, then the crystal pulsed and a figure appeared. A hologram, human, female. She looked like a scientist, but her face held the weight of someone who had seen death too many times. If you're seeing this, the hologram said, then the hybrid lives. And you found her. Rayan stiffened. My name was Dr. Ellen Varr. I worked on Project Eve, a top-secret operation to combine human DNA with enhanced alien traits discovered in the ruins of the Qatari Wars. We didn't know what we were making, until she spoke inside the womb. Rayan looked down at Myra, wide-eyed, silent. The child wasn't just smart. She wasn't just gifted. She remembered things from before she was born. Things we never taught her. The hologram flickered. The Qatari stole our research. They made clones, warriors, failures, but only one survived naturally, one child. Born not in a tank, but through pain and love and blood. Rayan felt his chest tighten. Luma had escaped with that child. She's not a weapon, Ellen continued. She's a bridge. Between races, between minds. She can speak across thought, read emotion, rewrite code. She's not ours to control, but to protect. Then the hologram turned to Rayan. If you're the father, I'm sorry. He stepped back, stunned. You didn't choose this, the image said. But your DNA is half of her. And only through your humanity can she stay balanced. Without you, she becomes unstable. Too powerful, too afraid. The crystal dimmed. Silence returned. Myra looked up. Her voice was quiet. She was my other mother. Rayan knelt down, holding her shoulders. What do you remember? She blinked. She used to read to me, while I floated in the dark. I wasn't scared then. Rayan felt a sharp ache in his chest. She remembered. The womb. She said one day, Daddy would come. He hugged her tightly. I'm here now, he whispered. I promise, I'm not going anywhere. Mira closed her eyes. I believe you. Then the walls of the chamber shook. A sharp rumble echoed through the cave. Rayan pulled her close. Standing up. Outside, something had landed, not a scout. A warship. The Qatari weren't waiting anymore. They tracked us here, Rayan said, teeth clenched. They want you. Mira looked toward the cave entrance, calm. I won't run this time. He stared. What do you mean? She left me something, Mira said. A gift. She raised her small hand, and the crystal pulsed again. A stream of light passed into her body, not energy, but memory. From Luma, her final thoughts, her love, her protection. Rayan watched as Mira stood tall, glowing like a star reborn. He saw Luma's face in hers, the quiet strength, the fire beneath it. Mira turned toward the exit. They think they can take me, but they don't understand. She looked up at him. I'm not alone anymore. Ryan grabbed his blaster, nodding. Then let's show them what that means. Outside, metal feet hit the dust. Qatari hunters spread across the rocks, weapons drawn. But this time, they weren't the ones in control. The key had awakened Dot, and humanity was standing with her. Dust lifted from the moon's surface as the Qatari warship unfolded above the canyon like a mechanical storm. Its black hull shimmered under distant starlight, layered in bone-like plates and glowing red veins that pulsed like a heartbeat. Hundreds of hunter drones descended, their movements too perfect, too cold. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They were here for one thing. Inside the ancient chamber, Mira stood completely still, her small hand resting on the crystal that had once carried Luma's memories. Her body glowed bright, now white-blue like a comet. Steady and fierce. Her voice was calm, but it hummed with power. I can hear them all. The Hive, the commanders. Even the one who calls himself the Core, they're afraid. Ryan loaded the last charge into his blaster. They should be. He turned to her, heart heavy but proud. Are you ready, kiddo? She nodded once. Are you? Before he could answer, the cave shook violently. The entrance blew open in a storm of smoke and debris. 3 hunter drones floated in, long blades clicking into place. They locked eyes on Myra. One of them spoke through a voice. Filter. Return the key. The host is expired. Protection is over. Ryan stepped between them. You'll have to go through me. The drone's blade hissed. Accepted. It lunged faster than light, but it never reached him, because Myra raised. Her hand and the drone froze midair, its joints locked. Its weapon dropped. Then its chestplate cracked like glass. Ryan shielded his eyes as the drone exploded into static. The others backed away, but too late. Myra turned her eyes on them, and with a gentle breath, she whispered, No more. A wave of raw energy burst. Outward silent, brilliant, alive. It passed through the drones, the walls, the canyon, even into space. The Qatari warship above began to tremble. Inside the vessel, alien commanders screamed as control systems failed. Their hive mind connection shattered. Alarms flashed. Systems shut down. Then complete silence. The warship shut off like a candle in a hurricane and crashed into the rocky plains beyond the canyon. Gone. Ryan stared at the fire in the distance, then looked at Myra. She stood quietly, her glow slowly fading. Her nose was bleeding, her lips trembling. She wobbled. He caught her before she fell. You did it, he whispered. I don't want to hurt anyone, she said softly. But I had to end it. You didn't hurt them, Ryan said. You freed them. Myra closed her eyes. Is Mommy watching? Ryan looked up into the sky. I think she is. He carried her back to the ship. The wreckage of the Qatari ship burned behind them, painting the horizon red. Inside, Ryan laid her down gently in the co-pilot's seat. She was breathing, but weak. Too much energy used too fast. He activated the transmitter. He had one message to send, just one. He stared into the camera, eyes tired but alive. This is Captain Ryan Vance, former mechanic, human citizen, now guardian of the one they call the key. The Qatari are done. Their hive mind is broken. Their greatest weapon chose peace. He looked at Myra beside him. She's not a threat. She's not a god. She's a child. And if you try to take her, any of you, I'll burn the sky down to keep her safe. Let her grow. Let her choose. That's all I ask. He leaned closer. If you've got a heart in your chest, remember this. The future won't be built by weapons or fear. It'll be built by what we protect, not what we destroy. He ended the transmission and launched it on a wideband Beacon 1. That would reach every human and alien sector in the next 20 hours. Then he sat back and closed his eyes. Later that night, he buried Luma beneath the stars, under the shadow of the ancient crystal. No gravestone, just silence. And love. Days passed. Repairs were slow, but enough. When the ship finally rose into the sky again, Mira stood beside him, a little stronger, still glowing just enough to light the cockpit. Rayan turned to her. "Where to now?" She smiled. "Home." "And where's that?" She pointed to the stars. "Where you are," he chuckled softly. "Fair enough." The ship vanished into the stars, silent and small, but carrying something larger than any fleet. Hope. Months later, across the galaxy, humans and aliens replayed that final transmission, and a single phrase began to spread across worlds like wildfire. "Protect her, or we're all lost." But on one quiet planet, in a hidden valley, a young girl chased fireflies under a purple sky. She laughed like any other child. She was Myra. She was loved. She was free. And the galaxy would never be the same.